15, 20 years ago. We started out, he was a young criminal, I was a young policeman, so we kind of grew up together on different sides of the street, obviously, but had a chance to meet Steve down at Silverade's. We got to talking and going through the conversation about it. It'd be very interesting to come in and share those experiences, kind of walk you through from his time maybe here in junior high in Buena Park up in the time about 35 years old, but he went through, get his life turned around, but I mean going through the juvenile hall system, the county jails, into the state prisons, and ideas he has for why he went wrong, and advice for parents and teachers that deal with kids like that.
The first section that we're going to go to talks about his drug use and such, and then a little bit more about what led him into crime as well. So let's go to the tape now and take a look at that.
Okay.
First time you went to prison, you were talking about what went through your mind that day?
Well, I'll tell you what happened with me is I started out with juvenile hall, started getting in trouble, and kind of graduated from juvenile hall. I went on to jail, and the thing about that was I was kind of like, I wasn't scared. It was like I was almost near waiting to go, you know, and when I went, it was like, wow, I did it, and it wasn't so bad. But the thing is, again, you know, you're fitting in a different society, in a different world. And I just was lucky I knew some people in there too. You know, I wasn't very big back then too, but I knew a lot of people. And again, that was because of my involvement with, you know, crime and people that I ran around with.
Like you say, back in those days, you and I probably met on a weekly basis.
Several
I remember,
times.
Yeah,
Most of the officers here I met quite frequently.
I remember one night in particular we were talking about the other day is, I can't remember, you were in a car. I can't remember if the car was stolen or whatever, and I chased you halfway through Fuller. I think that's the night you won the CIF wrestling championship. Remember that night?
That was the night. That was a wild night. Yeah, I think I jumped through fences and ran through all kinds of things. Left the car parked on a cul-de-sac somewhere, I guess. But yeah, that was kind of a weird situation in my life because I tried to maintain sports, but yet there was this, like I was mentioning before, a call of the wild. I wanted to know what was going on, kind of like, it was like a craving, you might say, to just find out what was happening. So between trying to be in sports, which when I was in sports, I was doing good. My grades were kept up. I had real good friends. I mean, I was just, you know, happy. But I also had this little side of me that wanted to just taste and see, you might say, kind of find out. And that side eventually overwon. And that's where trouble began for me. It just began when that curiosity thing, it's true. Curiosity does. It just takes you step by step.
What kind of crimes were you doing? Were you doing burglaries back in those days?
Man, anything I could do that was going to make me look like somebody, I guess. You know, make me fit in. A burglary was I don't know if I should say these things. No, some of these I never, you know what I mean?
Yeah, statutes ran out all these.
Oh, okay, then great. Yeah. Well, one of them was I actually did with the people in the house, and this is the truth. The people were in the house, and we took the TV, and everything. I even knocked over a vase, you know, and I was laughing on my way out. You know, the house happened to have the people living in the bedrooms were in the back, and the living was up front, so.
Was the house open, or do you remember how
no, we came in there, you know. The thing again, it was like this was a thing to do one with people in there. You know, that was it. You know, I mean, I was heralded as, you know, Alexander Mundy after that. You know, and that was something then because, you know, it was one of the programs, I guess, of the '70s that was really hot.
Yeah. But what about after burglaries? Did you get in?
Oh well, I did some other things. One time, now this is going through a period of time now.
Sure, yeah.
But you just gradually you got bolder and bolder because the more you get away with it, the easier it is. And even though I got caught. I wound up doing some time. You know, I wound up starting out with my little lightweight 60 days, 90 days, because there was also involved with alcohol also. See, with crime comes other crimes. There's not just one crime. There's many crimes to one crime. That leads up to that crime. Because usually we'd have to say have our liquid courage or smoke our you know, strength, whatever. I need a breath of air and smoke something, you know, to just give us that. Because on our own, there's fear. There's fear in everyone, even the most, you know, elusive, great, you know, criminal. He's got fear, you know, and that's what gives him that edge.
So you figure most times you were doing crimes, you were under the influence
of
alcohol?
You were under the influence of something, yes. You had to have that. And anybody that says, well, it's just natural for them to do that, no. They got to have that something that's going to give them a booster shot. Like I say, liquid courage for me. But then it went on to other things as it progressed and got older.
Now, were you doing also that crime to support the drug and alcohol habit?
It got, and again, like I'm saying, this is a progressive thing that went on later on. No, at first it was just to do the crime to have money, to, again, to fit in, to party. You know, we'd do this thing, I could trade, I wanted to have a car, a nice car. Cars, they break down. So when my car broke down, I had to get some money quick. And, you know, I had to get money, and burglary was one of the easiest ways. And other ways was just stealing out of stores. I mean, I was really good. I was really good. I guess I could tell you. One time I went into a store. I won't say what store. And I took a receipt that was off the ground. Okay? I went and I grabbed a stereo, right? I won't tell you why the store is closed. I stuck the receipt in my mouth like this, and I carried the stereo right out underneath their noses with the receipt in my mouth.
Right, thought you purchased it, huh?
I purchased it. And I can go on and on with many of these different things I did now. See, that was the thing. That was sort of like a drug. It was, God, I got away with it. I did it. But as you started using drugs, and then, you know, as we were saying, you do start to need to support that habit, then you fall into the crowd. You begin to look for somebody that's going to be your crime partner, and your crime partner is the one that's going to back you up no matter what, and who also has the same urge and craving as you have.
You guys usually split the profit then? I mean, when you guys...
Oh, no drug addict splits his profit, or,
so.
you know, because that's for the point I'd reached. And, no, you know, he doesn't. He tries to somehow get more, and always thinks he's getting less, regardless of what he's, you know, getting right, what's in front of him. He's always feeling that's not enough.
I would say at the peak of all this, describe an average week for it. What would go from Monday through the weekend? How much crime would you do? What was going on in your life at that time?
Okay, that's easy because it really wasn't that long ago. That was back in 85. 85 was the last time I was totally, and this is before a big change in my life. But it was easy. I had reached a point, oh my gosh, where I was at least digging a needle in my arm at least. Just to wake up, I had to have the wake up. I know that's familiar lingo with a police officer. I had to have a wake up just to start, just to function, just to go to the bathroom. I had to have that wake up. And from the wake up, it went to get down to the connection, to get a front. So I could just get right to go out there and function and think about what I'm going to do today with my partner. And my partner was too sick. Well, that's his tough luck. I had to go make some money somehow. And so usually it would consist of looking around, see what I could get. Now, people were getting hip to auto burglaries. They're having their auto alarms, auto alarms. And stores were getting all their cameras. I mean, it was just getting tough. So there was only one other thing to do, and that was start holding up. And holding up got pretty easy because there was nothing that was sacred. I mean, there was anything. I mean, one of the times, I got cracked for it now, and I can say this now because I got 6 months for doing this. But I ran up to a kid selling flowers. I mean, I just happened to see that wad of money in his hand. And all it was, later I would find out, was 19 ones. It cost me 6 months for 19 ones, and I couldn't even get a balloon to get high off it. I wound up looking at that, and somebody somehow got the license plate number. But when I looked it up, this big wad that I thought was, you know, hundreds, I was thinking. I'm not even thinking that a flower boy is just trying to make a few bucks here and there. But that's how you get. That's how you get.
So that was just
that was at my peak. You know,
that was just a daily.
Every day. As far as money goes, I could shoot up at least. You know, I mean, I hear these stories and I think, wow, you know, I must have been pretty, you know, low because I would shoot maybe about $400 or $500, and I'm talking about a mixture of drugs, not one drug. See, I got it mixed up with no longer just the heroin rush or the cocaine rush. It was the mixture called the speedball. I think this is one of the deadliest things still. You know, regardless of what you hear about rock and all these other things, these are one of the most deadliest things, the combination. But this is what you're going for, that one more, that extra thrill, that extra high.
Does it become more and more each week, your tolerance? I mean, last week was $300, this week is $400.
Oh, it builds up. When I first heard about John Belushi dying, I really liked Saturday Night Live. This was back in, I guess, the early 80s when he died. And I heard he shot 16 times up. Well, I passed him up. I passed him up, and I thought nobody could do that, but it can be done because your body will soon, it just gets used to it and adapts to it, so you just need more and more. And as you need more, you need to get more money. And you can't hold a job. There's no way. I mean, like I said,
no
once
job
you
pays
get involved,
$400 a day.
Well, no job's gonna. you know, you're not going to be able to duck in and out of your job to go get yourself well, because that's basically what's wrong. You're sick mentally and you're sick physically because you're so dependent now. There's just no way of trying to say, well, you know what, I'm going to pull out today. You can fool yourself. I always did. Remember now, I used to be a wrestler. I was pretty proud of myself physically. And I've always been a physical type person.
We fought a few times.
Oh, yeah. Many of your officers told me when we met at Silverado days, where I met all you guys. I was glad to share my life with you again now. Figured I owed you guys that much, that it wasn't in vain, all what you guys were trying to tell me back then. But,
what was your opinion of the police in those days? What did you think?
you know what? Back then, there was a lot of nice guys, believe it or not. I mean, when I would get arrested, I knew I was wrong. You see, I knew I was wrong. And basically, they would, sure, we'd rough and tangle, because like I said, I was very physical, and they knew it. And there was never a point where I was going to brutally hurt, even though there was a case. I was an officer that I did hurt, and I'm really sorry for it. And I don't think I'll ever see him, because I've asked about him, but there never really was a chance where there was going to be a confrontation where there was a life and death situation. It was either, how would they put it? There was three things when you arrested Steve Gomez. He was either going to be a rabbit and run, he was either going to have a big wrestling match, or be ready for the unexpected. He's going to try to do something crazy, man. It was one of those three things. So, you know, when I got pulled over, it wasn't just by one officer. There was always like 3 or 4 squad cars would show up, and it was like there'd be a big old powwow, man. How you doing, Stevie? Where's so-and-so? And on and on. But my opinion back then was they were pretty decent guys. And they were just after the bad guys. And I happened to be one of those bad guys and hung around with bad guys. And when you're a bad guy, they're going to be looking for you.
Backtrack there a little bit. You know, most of the contact we had with you was over on Washington Way, California Way, the group over there. You know, we could throw some names out here.
Well, we could.
Yeah, but
I could feel it.
we talked probably some peer pressure. You think that had a lot to do with just the environment over there and the things were going on in those neighborhoods in that time?
Yes. Like we spoke earlier, a lot of it was curiosity in that call, wanting to find out where things were happening. But once you got there, there was the peer pressure, because they really are a tight-knit kind of group of people. They're, you know, and I love them. I mean, I really do, and I still care for them, regardless. I haven't seen them, you know, in all these years either. And I would sure like to go down there and show them, you know, what's happening in my life and talk to them. I already have talked to some of the people that I used to run around with. And they're struggling and stuff, but they're glad to know that I'm doing it. I even mentioned what I'm doing right here with you tonight, and they were all, go for it, Steve. Tell them, you know. They wish they could, but they're still struggling. I've got the victory. Like I said, I've got a higher power, man. It's got me going.
We'll reach into that a little bit more. One last question before we kind of switch gears and look at the positive side. Did you ever go through an overdose? I mean, were you?
Many times.
You were on the deathbed in an emergency room or something like that?
Well, I did go out. Like I said, when you're around with these people that are doing this type of stuff, you see, they're also educated on ODs. I must have went out, gosh, at least just with, you know, with the people getting loaded at least 5 or 6 times, where I woke up soaking wet in the tub, eyes. One time they were taking me to a dumpster, and I came out of it. Again, I attribute, physical. I had a strong heart. I guess it just helped overcome. But many times they had to righteously hit my chest, put ice down my pants. I mean, things to just bring me around. Other times I had to go to the hospital twice. Matter of fact, I had to go to the hospital up here in Anaheim, Memorial, because I had done too much and my heart was going. And I thought I was okay, but all of a sudden I felt myself going.
Are you conscious of that whenever that's going on, or were you completely out of it?
Well, see, this is how the drugs work. Heroin, I never knew it. I came out of it one time, and I was sitting in a chair. They had propped me up, and everybody's looking at me, and I got mad. I like, oh, man, I can't even nod out. Look, I'm all soaking wet, and they got mad and said, don't you know, man, you almost near died on us. We just pulled you out of the tub. We just pulled you out of the tub full of ice, man. You dummy. And they were yelling at me, and I felt so bad because I woke up thinking that they were playing a practical joke on me, because I used to do that. If somebody passed out from drinking or something, I used to shave their legs. I used to put shaving cream all over them. You know, do stupid things like that.
But the next day was right back to the old routine. That didn't phase you at all.
I was a clown. I mean, you know, I used to laugh around and play around a lot, but yeah, these are the things that you play with that you don't play with. It's not a game. It's not a game. I tried to make it because I used to be that type of personality where I like to joke around, but it's not a game.
Let's get to the point where you obviously woke up one day, and what changed you? What made the Steve Gomez
Wow.
today?
Well, here's the main thing was I attributed a lot to my mother. I had reached a point where I was just totally out of it. Again, I was strung out. I was running around in Fullerton and Buena Park, and I was getting hot. It was getting really hot. And I went up to my mom's in Monterey Park, and, you know, she was crying. She was just looking at me and just told me, Steve, you can't stay here. Because I have half-sisters that were there and brothers, and she didn't want me to just, you know, turn them into what I was. And I know she must have prayed. She had to pray for me because I had reached that point. But I was willing to listen to her. And she told me of a program called Lifeline Outreach. Lifeline Outreach is a program that really changed my life. It's a drug rehabilitation program. It was in East LA, and now it's in Whittier. And this program is not like any other program. I mean, they just get down there and they just take you as you are. But there are rules to follow, and there's no contact with the outside world. And they don't hold you there by force. It's got to be that you really want to do something, man. You really want to change your life. You really want to, in other words, you got to be tired. You're tired of the probation. I've been on probation practically all my life. Are you tired of doing time? I must have did, God, 5, 6 years, 7 years, you know, of time. Accumulated year here, 9 months, years. Finally looking at, a matter of fact, there's a new charge now that says a career criminal. They were going to do this because they'd had it with me. You know, they had it.
So the system itself had no influence on you. I mean, going to jail at that point was just.
Oh, no.
What about the drugs in the jail? How did you deal with that?
Oh, the drugs in jail, I stayed high.
More
See,
drugs in jail than probably on the street, or?
You'd be surprised. And, I mean, I'm talking even of the officials in the not the police officers, no, but see, like, well, they busted a cook. That was one of the connections. A cook.
So drugs were not a problem even in the joint, huh?
Not even. Oh, yeah, people. Oh, I myself brought some in, okay? I mean, I can say this now. I used to bring them in. I used to do my little thing with oil and balloons and swallow them. And I mean, you reach a point where you'll do anything, and I would do it. I would swallow them, and out they'd come, clean them up, and man, I was high as soon as I got done booking. I was high, and plus, like in jail, if you got anything, you're in the car. That's the term I'm pretty sure you're familiar with. When you're in the car, it means you got everything taken care of. You got status, you got commissary, you're known. No one's gonna mess with you. So, you know, that was one of the things about going to jail, and that's why a lot of people, they get pulled over, try to swallow their stuff and keep it in balloons, because they know they're gonna go in.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's drugs in there.
Yeah. This program, and then your mom finally, the pressure there, that was just. You went into this program. Did you do jail after that program, or?
Oh no, that was it.
That
was it because, you know, this will go into a different area of my life where I finally got down on my knees and just said, Lord, help me. Lord, help me. And because on my own I couldn't do it. I couldn't. I mean, I fooled myself thinking I couldn't. I had realized I could not pull out. I mean, there was no place that I had tried to look at either now. I mean, I didn't go to any services or anything like that. This was just a program that my dear old mom found out. It happened to be affiliated with the church. I just called upon the name of the Lord, and that's what I've been doing ever since.
This is what year now? When did this?
In 85.
85. So you're like 7, 8 years into this program. Right?
And all these things happened after this. I got a job working for the city of LA, Breaking Parks. I'm a tree climber, a tree trimmer. My title.
Lovely wife. She looks like she's helping you out. Yeah.
Wife. I have a picture I showed you. She's a nurse.
It's
3 boys.
That's great.
I mean, it's just my whole life turned around.
You feel any need to go back to that? Is that?
Oh no, but now what I do want to do is talk, and I have been talking to my old acquaintances, fellowships that are still around, and though some of them, Ricky Mendez, mention his name,
Sure.
but he was, when he was locked up, he was going to church and doing good and everything there, but once you get out here, it's that again, peer pressure. It is peer pressure affects people. He fell and he's struggling, and I'm working with him, talking with him. A couple of other people, I don't want to mention their names, I already mentioned Ricky's, but I'm working with them, and they see through me that I'm for real. And that's the main thing. What matters is what I say, I'm living. Not to be a hypocrite, not to say one thing and do another, but by my words, I'm speaking truth. Words of life. And this is why they call me.
Yeah.
And this is why I'm doing this.
Great.
Because what I'm saying, it's words of life.
A lot of kids are looking at this will probably be in, that 5th, 6th junior high. What was going on in your mind in those days? Where was your life at in those days?
Again,
15, 16 years old.
gosh, I guess trying to fit in. Now, I lived in an area, Sunny Hills, where it was predominantly white, but the school that I went to was Wilshire, which again was Mexican and black. And living in a different area and going to a different school and just trying to identify. Coming from Texas in itself, I already had a Texas accent, you all, they all, we all, I guess trying to fit in at that age in junior high was really important. That's where sports kind of took me in. Once I got good in sports, it was pretty much, I wish I would have followed it all the way. I went to the Junior Olympics, Junior Olympics, and I placed second place there. I mean, these
That was
were
in
the
wrestling,
things
right?
in wrestling. I was pretty good.
What advice would you have for kids that age, 5th and 6th grade,
Oh.
7th graders? If you had that to go back over, and if they maybe are in the same boat you were in at that time, some advice to stay on track and not go down this other path?
I think my advice would be to tell them not to try so hard to identify with something, but to search themselves and see what would make them, be what they can be and not what everybody else is. And that goes for sports. Not everybody should go to sports or should look at that as the main thing that's going to save you through school. No. There should be something in every one of us that we know that this is where I'm comfortable at, whether it be sports or, photography. Right now at junior high, they have so many doors opened up to them. Computer, my gosh, this age is going into computers and electronics. My advice for them to seek these things, look for these things, and not try to identify with the super jock or the cool cat on the motorcycle or the guy with a hot rod with the girls. No, that's not where it's at. All those things will come later on if that's what you want. But at this early age, look at things that might help you to better yourself without having to try to, this is what my mistake was. I tried to fit in and try to identify, and that wasn't really the case for me. I did fit in one thing, but I just didn't pursue it. I had that call of the wild, and I know that's in every child. Every kid growing up, there's that call of the wild. You just want to just taste and see. You just want to check things out. And you can do that, but watch out. You just might get burned.
Yeah. What's your opinion of some of these, like the DARE program or the Pay
great.
Positive? Do you think that made a difference in your life with those programs?
My little boys are in it. They love it. They're into it. They are well aware of it. The thing about the programs that they have now, especially the ones on TV, cops, all these different other program detectives, I'm able to tell my boys I live that on the other end. You see those dents on that hood? I would tell them, well, those dents on the hood are from guys that couldn't be quiet, so the officers had to quiet them, man. They would give them a bad time or something, But I was able to share them that I was there, and son, that's not where it's at.
These programs, like say, with the DARE and the Pay, where they're building up self-esteem, trying to get them into other programs away from the drugs. You think those are effective? And you see, you work with the LA recreation programs. Do you see a difference in the kids with these programs come along?
They have Griffith Park, where I work at, Dickerson's Rangers. They have things for the kids to see, along with activities as far as swimming, horseback riding, and all these things to give them to look at, to seek after, or to follow after. They also make them aware of things that are for reality, things on drugs, what they can do, what they have done. They're very, very well informed and very well aware. And these kids nowadays that are in these programs will tell you straight out, no way to drugs, no to drugs. They are just, I guess it puts something in them to where they are able to say no, and it's like a wall there, and you can't change their mind. I think that's how effective these programs are. I know my kids are that way, and their father is the next dope addict. I'm proud of these programs. I just wish they were around when I was a young boy.
They think they're effective then?
I know they're effective. I see it in my little boys.
Great.
They're constantly sharing me things that they learned. This officer over here at Gilbert School here, he's great. My kids love him. They
That's
love him.
super.
Well, obviously, we can see that a lot of drugs and such perpetuated the problem and led them more into crime, right?
Right, exactly. I think you can see the problems he went through. It's easy to sit back and judge him now, but I think in this next segment you'll see where the consequences, how he got into that, the flyer parties that you see prevalent today, what caused all these problems, and the consequences he pays going to the state prisons. I think it's very scary things he's going to talk about going through the system, the price you pay going to jail, not only the lost time, but just your lifestyle in there. It's going to have just, you come out of there obviously worse off than when you went in.
And it really doesn't seem to rehabilitate anybody,
not at
does
all,
it?
like I say. And then the last thing you'll talk about, advice for parents to hopefully head these problems off long before they ever get started and lead to these types of consequences.
Okay, let's go to the tape and listen to this.
You were talking about the good life, the party life. You were talking about flyer parties. Tell me what goes on there, what influence that had on you.
Flyer parties. I think they're the worst invention, seriously. At the time that I was going to them, they were the best thing I could ever went to. I mean, it was probably one of the best turnouts to go to, because at these flyer parties, you saw everything and anything committed. I mean, everything from like drug abuse to rapes. I mean, rapes not were there forcibly, it's just that people were so under the influence of, say, these kegs and kegs of beer there, where young kids were just drinking till they were completely out of it, and, guys would just have their way. And it's sad because, I was involved in many of them, and my conscience would bother me afterwards, but still, there was people, everybody was doing it, so everybody's doing it, why not me? And, the drug abuse there was just, I mean, you could just go to anybody, and they would share with what they had, and whatever you had, you'd share with them, and it was like a bartering, going back and forth of whatever drugs you wanted. It was almost like a mini concert. I think that these flyer parties, man, I think if people were aware of what goes on behind these flyer parties, they show you these flyers that say, bands, kegs of beer, live music, come as you are, security, they look so good. They paint a pretty picture. But on the back of that flyer, it should tell you what goes on in that party, that party that's going on there. The drug abuse, the rapes, the stealing, the thievery, the pressures of just trying to just be part of the party, or the party animal spirit that you're supposed to fit into. It's just rooting you, it's just messing you up, because you're thinking that you're really cool, but what you're doing is you're just going along with the flow of what's happening there, and it's just a big free-for-all. That's really what it is. The flyer should say free-for-all, anything goes. That's what these parties are.
So those are really a really negative influence when you're growing up.
I'm telling you, I used to live for those, and not just me, people just like me. And back then, now, I wasn't like I am now. I wouldn't, as far as I had to say to you was, off I go again, later on, and I'd see you in another year, or 6 months, or whatever.
It seemed like a lot of those parties in those days, too, maybe the parents went away for the weekend. The kids
That was the idea.
People's houses got thrashed in those days, not to mention the things you talked about.
That was the idea. That was the idea. And we would travel as far as Laguna Beach, because flyer parties would be going on. Brea Linda, and everywhere there would be any type of party, you can sure bet the police were involved, because they would come in, something would happen. Put it this way, at flyer parties, the police would show up. It wasn't because the music was loud, it's because somebody was either beat up, knifed, raped, or was OD'd, overdosed at the party. I mean, this should tell people what's going on at these parties. That it's just a one isolated incident. No. If there was somehow a way of tapping in, as you would see things that some of your your movies here would be put to shame. I'm serious, and I'm not exaggerating, because I don't have to.
Yeah.
I lived it. I was there.
So some of these cities that are banning these illegal parties, you think they were on the right track then to get rid of those things?
What's taking Buena Park so long?
Yeah.
What's taking them so long?
Okay.
I mean, we've got Knott's Berry Farm. We have major attractions here. I mean, you think that one of these, what would you say, these flyer parties would be definitely taken out of the system, be dealt with right away. Because, these things are just, they're just terrible. They're really bad.
Tell me, before you said about concerts and stuff, how much did music and TV shows and commercials, were those much of an influence in your life back then?
I think it was a major influence in my life. I loved rock and roll. I still do. I do like rock and roll. I still like I said, Led Zeppelin, one of my favorite bands. But as drugs came into my life, so the music. went into a different change where it had to be more louder, more heavier, and a lot faster, and the music became like the magic along with the little potions that went with it. You know, the music had a lot to do with my life. And as far as TV goes, I was more or less, I'd like to watch, like your horror movies and stuff like that, and things like that. As far as drive-ins and stuff, they were just party houses. Again, it was just to go party, your drive-ins and stuff. But music had a major influence in my life.
What about gangs? Were you ever involved in a gang?
Gangs.
Or?
Well, a motorcycle gang that was short-lived over in Buena Park, and they were taken care of quick. Again, I was trying to identify with some people there because I had a bike, and the first thing was when you get a bike, I thought was to get in a gang. And once you get in a gang, you wore a jacket, and when you wore a jacket, you did what they did. And if they went to go party, you went to go party. They went to go fight, you went to go fight. I joined the gang to have fun. I wound up just doing everything that the gang had to do, and it was no fun. It just was no fun. And when I tried to go around to different areas to party, I'd always be confronted by gangs. Now that I knew a lot of people kind of helped me from not getting, messed up or jumped or anything, because I knew a lot of people from Buena Park. I was pretty popular, known pretty much by a lot of people. But the gang scene, it's just the scene that is just, you're not in there for yourself as you think. You thinking your jacket's cool, you're thinking your little hand signs and your jive is cool, but you're finding out you're not cool. The gang is telling you what to do. The gang is making you do what they want to do. It's the gang and it's not you. It's not cool. You want to be cool, stay away from gangs, man. That's the cool person, the one that doesn't have to be in the gang to be cool.
I know some tattoos on your arm there. Was that a gang influence? How did those come
yeah.
about?
Well, I've got one on my back. I got when I was locked up in there, and I have some on my chest too. Got my teardrop. I had that done because I guess you might say it's the saying in jail: when time's killing you, it's a weakness to cry. So I had a teardrop put on my eye there, and that was for my first year. And the rest of them, well, I got involved with, like I said, trying to identify. At one time, I was quite prejudiced, and I had the SWAT sticker and Thunderbolts put on here. And here I'm a Mexican, but like I said, confused kid, not really knowing which way I wanted to go, what direction I wanted. I was just trying to fit in. And drugs was one of the easiest. Gang, well, I tried it, and it just wasn't me, man. I'm just thankful I was able to kind of pull out. Like I said, it wasn't on my own, but I was able to pull out and be a survivor.
So there's really no positive aspects to a gang that you see?
There's none. I mean, unless this gang is doing something that's positive in the first place. See, most gangs aren't doing things that are positive. I don't see them doing things like planting trees or doing as I'm doing right here, speaking to people about drugs and about these flyer parties and about peer pressure and things that a young kid grows up without any type of program such as DARE or officers like yourself that are willing to reach out. Not just slap the cuffs on guys like me, but willing to, hey, you know what, a hand instead of a handcuff. It makes a lot of difference in a young boy's life who's kind of confused, and kind of helps set him straight.
I think we mentioned gangs before. We were talking about a typical somebody coming to a state prison, maybe a blonde-haired, blue-eyed kid coming into a prison system. What's he facing? Say he's got a 5 or 6 year sentence for a first-time criminal. I think of a person here in town who just got picked up for a robbery and a kidnapping. He just got sentenced to 9 years, probably the first crime he ever committed. What's he facing when he goes into the state system?
Well, the first thing he's facing right there is fear. He's looking at fear because, for one thing, these penitentiaries and prisons, they don't mess around. You're now coming into their world, you're coming into their society, and you're coming in on their terms. And I don't know if anybody's seen American Me, or if they've seen Scared Straight, but if you really want to find out what it's like in there, that's probably the best way to see what goes on in there, because it's not a game, and it's not fun, and when you're involved in there, you're involved. There's no, well, I'm going to do my own time. There's no, well, I'll just walk on this side. The old saying, be cool, walk slow, and you'll get out soon. Well, that's not the way it goes. When you come in there, you're part of. You just better make up your mind on what part you're going to be on, because you're going to have to wind up watching over your back, watching over your shoulder the whole time. And a blonde-haired, blue-eyed kid coming in for the first time, I'm telling you right now, doesn't have much of a chance. He doesn't have much of a chance. He's looking at things that could happen to him that he will never be able to overcome or forget. I mean, it's rough.
But you say the first day you went there, obviously you went through the system scared, but I mean, what was your first confrontation? Someone come up to you and challenge you to fight right off, or join their gang, or try and rob you, rape you right in jail right from the get-go?
Well, there was no rape on that part on me. Now, what I did have, I had to prove myself. You have to prove yourself. There's going to be a bump on the shoulder. There's going to be somebody stealing your commissary, which is cookies, candies, what you get in there. There's going to be some point where there's going to be a challenge. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. From the baddest of the baddest. There's going to be a point where you're going to be a confrontation, and you better move. Because if you walk away or you show any weakness, which is a term that has been around since, I guess, prisons were made, they're going to be marked, and everybody's going to take care of you. I mean, if it ain't rape, it's going to be something worse. What could be worse to a man than losing his manhood? Now, I never had that problem there, but I tell you what, I'd seen it go down right in my cell, and well, I could say more things, but I'm just glad that that stuff is behind me. But
I mean,
it happens live.
Somebody as simple, they'll just test you to steal the cookies off your table. They're going to see what you react, whether you just sit there and let it happen, or you challenge them, and that determines your fate.
So right there, you hit it right on the square. Something to see what you're made of. Okay, now if you're like, again, I don't want to pick on the Anglo-whites, but if you're a blonde-haired, blue-eyed surf cat, and you come in just to Orange County Jail, I mean, you can expect to be messed with, have kisses blown at you. I mean, humiliating things. And if you don't take care of that right away, you're looking at the rest of your time. If you're going to do it, if you're doing 5, 6 years like you're talking about, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. Unless you can start taking steroids and blow yourself up and be an 8-degree black belt, then maybe you just might. But it doesn't work that way in there.
Walk through the two scenarios. If someone comes up and steals your cookie and you just sit there, what path do you follow then? What happens?
If I just sit there, then I better expect all my cookies to take it, maybe even my brown cookie too, if I don't do nothing. But if the guy takes my cookie and I grab his hand and I pull him down and say, "What you doing?" And if the confrontation breaks down, even if I lose, if I just put up that fight, whether I lose, they let you alone. They leave you alone. Now, I've even got involved. There was a guy we got taken from here. I won't mention his name. He was under the influence. Okay, now I was under the influence too, but I've been in jail, and it was nothing. We got booked again and everything. Well, as we were sitting in the tank cell, one of the guys came and got me and said, "Hey, they're going to go do your friend, man." I said, "What?" Well, they're going to go do your friend right now. They got him in the back, way in the corner, and they're going to go do him. They meant by doing, they were going to rape him. He was out of it. I go back there, and there they were. There was about 4 guys, and they were getting ready to do him. And I walked up there and said, "Hey, what's going on, man?" And they started telling me, "Hey, come on, Holmes, you're in too." I go, "No, that's my buddy. Back off." Now, and being there, a tank heavy, you had a reputation there. It was either you go down right then and there, or they would respect you, is what you're saying. And I had the respect of a lot of people, or I had backup. That's probably the best thing. I had backup. They left him alone.
So you're almost talking like gangs in the prison then.
They're in there. I mean, I wasn't involved in gangs with prisons, but I was involved with people that I knew there from being in and out. You see, once you're going in and out of there, you get sort of it's like when you go to the hole, it's respect. And respect is a lot in there. And if you're a man of your word and what you say you do, you know, then you're respected in there. And this happened to be a friend of mine that got booked with me, and he was under the influence and didn't know what was going on. They were ready to do him up.
So if you go in there, say as a Hispanic or a black, does that they automatically take you under their wing, or you still got to prove yourself, or how does that work?
You'll be checked out. Okay, you'll definitely be checked out, and there'll be somebody to test you. Be somebody that just wants to see what you're about, see what you're in here for. First, one of the easiest ways to check somebody out is, what are you in here for? Straight out, what are you in here for? And if, you know, it's in here for assault and battery, you know, this and whatever charges, then, you know, it's kind of, well, like you're kind of already in there if you're a Mexican or a black. But if it's, say, something that's kind of lightweight, traffic tickets, drunk driving or something like that, well, time will tell on you there. Time will tell. If you're a crybaby, say you're on the phone and you wanted, see right there, right there you know what type of person it is. Or say you don't get a letter, from your girlfriend or a visit, and you start doing the hard time. Well, you're just showing everybody just what you're made out of. You see, these are the things in there that I'm telling you, it's a whole different society, a whole way of life, and you better learn it if you're going to try and play it. You better learn it quick, because it's a history lesson you're never going to forget if you don't. I'm telling you, I mean, how we got into this, I don't know, but
I just say,
this is an aspect area that was mainly a big major part of my life,
Yeah.
was living this.
When you served a sentence, let's say you served 6 months, you walked out the doors, and you ever go through your mind, I'm coming back to this place, but all of a sudden came back.
I wish I could say that, but you know what my mentality was? We had, again, everything's kind of like labeled sayings, walk slow, be cool, you get out soon. Well, it was out the door at 8, in the spoon by noon, another fix at 6, and feeling fine at 9. In other words, around the clock, getting high.
So there's really no deterrent. I mean, just keep my bed warm, I'll be back in a couple of weeks.
That was it, man. Hang in to save my bunk, tell the guards, hey, look, I'm going to go visit your wife, and stuff like that. Cruel things, funny things. Some of the guards would laugh because they knew you were just a joke anyway. But still, that was the mentality that you had accepted, and you'd say, well, that's me. That's me. So when I was going in there, all I looked for was to get healthy again. Start working out in there, eating good. I would work, whatever, fire breaks or whatever I would send me, man. I was all gung-ho about it. But my thought when I got out was to party hardy and not get busted. That was the idea and the thought.
It almost sounds like I've talked to a couple other people that when you go back in the joint, it's like a break. It's kind of like club fed. I mean, you get 3 squares a day. You get to work out, you play a little handball. If you got the protected in there, you got plenty of drugs. It's almost like when you're outside, you're struggling to get back in. It's harder on the outside than it is on the inside.
You know what I want to say right now, since we're on this, because what you just said is really right there on target about what I'm going to say right now. There is no rehabilitation. I mean, there is no rehabilitation in our penal system and in our jails. I mean, where we have, they have jobs they give us. They have things for us, but I think counseling is needed. Much counseling, not just psychiatric counseling. I think there is no true rehabilitation because when the person leaves out there, he's still basically what he went in.
Mm-hmm.
All he did was a stretch of time and his brain just went dead. He just got the system in him, waking up at 4, standing for count, going to the yard, doing whatever job it is, writing a letter, working out, boom, there's one day. All of a sudden you start doing calendars and the rehabilitation, there's really not rehabilitation there. And I don't know how I would fix it. I suggest counseling, but I myself am taking counseling. There's a place that I'm going to over at Diamond Bar. I don't know if I can mention it, but it's a great place. It's called Turning Point. Turning Point Counseling. It's a Christian counseling. And even though I've been straight and doing good, I still need it because of much of the involvement that I had in my life with the other side, the dark side I want to call it, because that's basically what it was. The dark side still has its effect in my life, and it's still there. To tell you that, no, I never have these thoughts about, that. I'll tell you right now, and this is the truth. When I walk into some bathrooms and the sound of the vent, I can almost near smell matches burning. I can almost near smell the sulfur, and I get chills because a bathroom to me was a place where you got loaded. That's just a feeling. So that happens at times, or when somebody strikes a match, and I get that almost I want to throw up because it reminds me of the sickness I had to wake up every morning to. So these things are still there. They put a definite brand in my soul. But like I said, through counseling and through a lot of just good old-fashioned prayer, and involvement with what's going on around my kids as far as there and doing this. This is what's keeping me still in touch with myself. I myself am a good person.
I agree with you 100%. I'm thinking I look back, because we see a lot of tragedy. You talk about ODs, people that didn't get the second chance. I'm sure you look back and say 10 or 15 years,
There's some
School of
people,
Hard
good
Knocks.
friends I've lost. There's
You
some
go,
good
yeah,
friends
there's
I've
people
lost.
going over there, but you look back at it's 10 or 15 years you lost out of your life. I mean, School of Hard Knocks, I mean, days I'm sure you
gosh.
had. But to lose that, I mean, obviously the scenarios don't get involved in the first place, but to lose all that time, it just,
My gosh. I mean, the saying about, take it, seize the day, I've heard that. That is such a true saying. I mean, I didn't understand it when I saw the movie, seize the day. But that is so important that each and every day should be a day that you've done something that you accomplished something or did something that you can say, hey, I made this day and I did this today, a day of accomplishment, just something to just take advantage of that time. I mean, I lost a lot of time, and I know many like me. There's people still sitting there, a lot of good friends of mine that are sitting right now behind bars, sitting there in the yard, walking the yard, doing dead time.
yeah.
And when you're out here, you could be doing the best of time, growing, enjoying life. I mean, there's so much life has to offer, especially to a young mind, that why burn it out or lock it up or kill it, worst of all.
I hear a lot of young people like say that go out there, well, I'm just going to kick back for a few years, and then, you see some, and I use the example, well, he had a few good years, but he snapped out of it. And I say, well, we know a lot of people just here in Buena Park that didn't snap out. A lot of, we picked a lot of dead bodies up
That's
off the
right.
street, and people still behind bars. So I think you can do this for a few years and snap out of it. It's a big risk.
You must be, I'd say to that person, you must be not from this planet, because you're human. You got skin just like me. You breathe the same air I breathe. Listen, you want to take that chance and try to do that, then you know what? All I can say is that it's the old saying, you want to play with fire, you're going to get burned. And that's the simplest way I can put it, because there is no Superman around here. We're all are prone to have that,
Sure.
that same
You get those scars for life.
thing.
and
Yeah,
they say,
they're there. I mean, why take the chance? Why take the chance? See, I'm able to say these things because, I mean, I survived. And when I say I made it or I came through, I'm telling the truth. I survived because, I still carry marks and scars. And, there's still, like I said, there's pain. I regret a lot of people. I hurt a lot of people, coming up. Like I said, my dear old mother and friends. And, there was a lot of people. It just cut into a lot of things. And the person that says, well, he's just going to kick back and just, just check things out and, play the, well, you're playing. That's exactly what you're doing. Why even try?
Yeah. But I think back at, all the highs in your life, maybe you look back, maybe that night we talked about where you won the CIF wrestling, or, walking around campus with your varsity jacket, or the other kids, they get, good grades to bring that report card home. And those are the real highs in life, don't you think, looking back?
I'm telling you, there's nothing like somebody putting a medal around your neck, getting that star on your varsity jacket. There's nothing like it. I don't know why I just couldn't get my mind made up, because I enjoyed that. My varsity jacket at Buena Park High School was something that was an accomplishment. I did it, and I earned it, and I was proud of it. But yet, in the same sense, I didn't respect it. I would let my friends wear it. I would still win a match, win a contest, our school would win, and yet I'd be over here just partying and trying to just fit in with another crowd, which it just wouldn't work out. It just couldn't. You couldn't do it. The people that would respect me for what I was would see me then, in a stupor, in a fight. It was just a shame. It was a shame that I didn't stay with the high that was a natural high and a high that was an artificial, but it was real, it was genuine, and all I had to do was let myself be the best person I could be, instead of trying to chase after something I was not and trying to be. That was part of the best years of my life, when I was involved with sports, involved with school activities, involved with my family. I mean, I turned away from everybody to seek after something that was, again, I say, the call of the wild.
Yeah.
I just
So those are the foundations you can build on for later life. I think.
I could have had direction. I had promises. They were talking scholarships, going to colleges. I had this chance. I had these opportunities. You mentioned CIF. I never got quite to CIF. I went to tournaments, and I went to the Junior Olympics. and I barely lost this one match by a takedown. And I got a medal this big that was hung by a girl who was beautiful. And I'll never forget that, because I think there's no drug that can get you as high as I felt that night. I mean, I competed against several counties, 5 counties I think it was called, but it was the Junior Olympics.
You and I wrestled that night after your car chase, so
Oh boy!
I knew
I think I wrestled probably maybe at least out of the department back then, probably at least maybe 14, 15 of the officers. You know, I mean, it was just that kind of a confrontation. Not trying to test my skills, but it was always me trying to get away or trying to see what you guys were like. I guess, you know. It was crazy.
But you got your highs now. We talked about your lovely
Oh,
wife,
yeah.
your family, your job, and your church. There's a highs even now that you're building on.
These are the highs now that right now, for me, watching my sons, like I say, in the programs and are aware of what was going on, and also that can look at me and be proud of me now. You know, I mean, they can see that Father, you know, has been there, and look where he's at now. I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian man. I'm working for the city, which is an excellent job as a tree trimmer. I'm on my way to be a supervisor.
Great.
Me, a supervisor. Gosh, even now when I think about that, it boggles my mind. But why not? Why not? I mean, I don't have to stop there too. I can still go on. Not that I'm going to run for president or nothing like that, but you know, the potential, you know, of a mind, it's unreal. I mean, there was like many years lost. Who knows what I could have done. You know, what could have happened. But right now where I'm at, I'm just thankful what I have now. I'm sober. I'm happy. I feel good about myself. I'm back into health again. You know, I'm back into taking care of myself. And most of all, I'm an example to my wife and to my kids and to the people around me, and also to my friends that yet they're still out there. I'm still an example to them because they're willing to talk to me. They don't hide from me because I'm for real. I'm for real. I'm not the copy of Holyfield, man, but I'm real. I'm the real deal, and this is me now.
What would be advice to parents? I say you got some boys now. You were to come home one day and one of your sons came home. He maybe had a tattoo on his arm. He's wearing gang clothing, and maybe you went through his drawer and found some dope in there. How would you handle that as a parent now?
Okay, how I would handle that, I'll put that in perspective. I think before it came to that, but if it did, I'll tell you what to do. But I think as a parent myself is to listen to your kids. Listen to them. Listen to what they're talking about. Listen to what they're listening to. Listen to their friends. I mean, don't eavesdrop, but just, you know, when they want to talk, be there for them. Listen to them. Make time for them. I think it's real important, especially when I missed out now, when I was in wrestling and stuff, and I always go back to that, my dad never went to nothing. My mom never went to that. Nobody was there to see my accomplishments. So where did I take my accomplishments? To the parties, where everybody patted me on the back and handed me a beer, and boy, I was somebody, and there I was, sloppy drunk. I think that if parents will make the time to just be there, really, just be there and listen to their kids, you might not find that little tattoo or that stuff in the drawers and stuff. But if you should find this, I think that you should use wisdom. Don't just blatantly just, you know, go off on them, because that's our nature, to go off on our kids, because we don't want them to fall into that, or them to be known. Or how could you do this? We get hurt as parents. We ought to take ourselves and put us aside and look at this little mind, how old it is, how long it's been on this earth, how many years you've been on this earth, and try to look at it as how can we straighten this out? How can we correct this? And not give in to our natural, which is to just turn around and just tear them up. You know, try to work things out, and most of all, be there and listen to them. That's what I apply in my life.
Obviously, he gives some incredible stories and some very scary stories about what prison life is really all about, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think the really thing to keep in mind here is he went through, I can't even begin to calculate how much millions of dollars that the system, you know, from the police right onto the courts, the jail system, and it really didn't have a recovery. It boiled down to the simple fact that he sat down and talked with his mother. That probably should have been done when he was a much younger age and still waiting to there. So I mean, a simple thing like that could have turned his life around, I think, much earlier in the process, instead of spending all these millions of dollars to the system that obviously Steve says doesn't work anyway.
Well, and here's a person that was involved in wrestling and such and was doing so well in school and in sports. He was excelling in sports, but he hit the nail right on the head, I think, talking about his parents and how they were not paying attention to him, not recognizing his accomplishments, which really makes a big difference.
It's a big crutch, because say that when that breaks down, I mean, the gang people or your druggy friends are doing that for you, that's where you go to instead of the place you should be going
It's
to.
unfortunate. Thank you, Sergeant Branham, for bringing us this gentleman and sharing that information with us.
Thank you.
If you have a question for the Buena Park Police Department, you can call them at 562-3900. This has been Crime Watch. Thanks for joining us.